Hey everybody, welcome back to another Gen Z movie reviews. I have the pleasure of being joined by my buddy Galliardo here today, but it's not just us. I also have the infinite pleasure of being joined by a new friend of mine. I've been following his career on YouTube for some time now, and it's a real pleasure that he gets to join me. He is the man, the horror man of all time, big horror fan. You'll have to check out his channel. He loves talking horror films. He gets me excited about horror, and I'm not even the biggest horror fan. So let's introduce our friend GM Light Griffin.
Hey,
what's up?
thanks for
How you
having me,
doing?
fellas. Appreciate it.
It's good to see you, man. Good
Yeah,
to
let's
see you,
talk
man.
some Scream.
How you feeling today? You feeling good?
Oh
Having
yeah,
a good day?
I'm feeling good.
Good. Luke, how you feeling? You feeling good today?
Great. There's air in my lungs. You know, it's
Oh,
it's good. It's a good day.
It's a beautiful day outside.
beautiful
It's a
day.
nice night, right?
Absolutely.
Right after watching Scream, Luke and I went on a nice walk together. It was very nice. We have the boys over every Tuesday night, and yeah, that sounded a little fruity. But,
I don't know why you had to add that in there, but
You weren't supposed to tell anybody.
yeah, all right, my
yeah,
bad.
shh.
Okay. We were just chilling, having a good time. We didn't talk about Scream though. We waited to talk about it because this is a big day for all of us bringing this film up. I was surprised to remind myself that this movie is almost 30 years old. 1996. Isn't that insane?
That is
That's
insane.
insane.
And you could tell, I mean, it is dated, obviously. 90s were so different than now, especially the fashion. I love seeing just like how everybody dressed back in the day. But, just so much is different back then. And I love like the 90s period of film is sort of my favorite. I ruminate towards that. And it's always so funny to me, like with Scream, that was sort of one of those entrances into seeing what the high school frontier looks like. Like growing up, I got to see, oh, this is what high school looks like. Everybody's really good looking and older looking, and everyone's, there's certain dramas and such. And when you get into high school, it's like, oh, wow, nobody looks like that. Nobody acts like that. Nobody dresses like that. It's kind of like that with like Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man movies. Everybody's like super old. Yeah. So I
Almost
think
like
it was
a
funny.
college kid film. Almost.
Yeah.
It gave off those vibes, like the frat parties and whatnot.
No,
Yeah,
because it's just nobody actually acts like that.
Right.
no,
Not
man.
at all.
I wish it was more like this, but I mean, these guys, especially like Stu, I mean, just so immature, and the way they handle, the catastrophes that happen. It's hard to
Hilarious.
listen to them. But like when I think about like what it was like in high school, I mean, man, people were they were crazy sometimes. I mean, people were saying terrible stuff. I remember.
Yeah.
And something weird was I remember in grade school, people were even more wild in grade school, like in 8th grade, than they were in high school. For me, that was my experience. Just like the way they talked, like they said really awful, weird stuff. I don't know. That was just my weird growing up experience, but it's definitely it did go crazy here. We're in the 90s. It hasn't changed too much, but yeah, definitely a real pleasure. If you guys aren't too familiar with the Scream films, of course they've made so many of them. How many have they made? GM? Have they made 7 now? Or
6.
6?
They're about to make a 7th one. And have you heard about all the drama too surrounding it?
No. Well, I guess they're trying to figure out like who's coming back, because I know Nev Campbell, I think she's in the ropes.
Yep, she is. I mean, I don't want to jump ahead. We'll circle back to it, but there's a lot. I think you probably think it's interesting.
Oh yeah, definitely. It's so ridiculous how dramatic the whole situation has been in the new trilogy or whatever they're doing.
Yep.
I mean, for me, I love the Scream movies. I can't wait to talk to you guys about this, because this has always been the horror films of my life. I've enjoyed watching Scream since early high school, 8th grade. And it was my entrance into horror, really, other than Signs, which is my number one favorite film of all time. And just love. Thank you. Finally, everybody dogs on me for loving Signs.
No, dude, it's underrated. That's one of show. I mean, that was a movie that I think it came out and it was a huge hit, and then everybody turned around and shit on it when like internet criticism became a thing. Like that's what I get from the discourse surrounding that movie.
Oh, really? Oh,
you say it's amazing, but we haven't watched it one time, so.
I know we're gonna have to. I'm always kind of like, I'm always I second guess myself because I already made a video about it, but do I want to do a stream? So I don't
Yeah,
know.
of
I think
course.
we're going to talk about it. We have some exciting stuff coming up in the next few weeks. So
Yeah.
we'll have to sneak it in there somewhere. But yeah, Scream has been a big part of my life. I've always enjoyed those films. Nev Campbell, Sidney Prescott is my celebrity crush and always will be. Even Jenna Ortega can't replace her for me. Love Nev Campbell. GM here, him and me both have been to a lot of horror cons and just conventions where we've met different horror actors. So we're going to talk about all those weird acquaintances we've made through those different experiences. Because I've met a lot of the Scream actors, and I've got some crazy stories. So we'll talk about that at the very end. But
I've only met the controversial one.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah.
Don't say who it is yet. I'm curious to know.
I'm not going to
I know what you're talking about. Okay. I definitely got to hear about this. Yeah, I know who you're talking about. But Luke, to my knowledge, this was your very first time watching Scream. Is that correct?
Yeah, all the way through. Yeah, I've seen bits and pieces of it. But I got the full package tonight.
How'd it feel?
It felt great. I mean, I almost saw it as a comedy horror. In my opinion, Matthew Lillard stole the show for me. He was hilarious.
Yeah, I wanted to talk about that tonight because he eats up the scenery.
Yeah.
But it's also, too, it's one of those things where I feel like in kind of the same way, and this isn't exactly like a positive thing. I think that Scream does it very well, but I feel like that it influenced and informed the way that, and the tone of horror movies going forward from there for a while, in kind of the same way that the Avengers and the Joss Whedon dialogue informed the way that action movies are now, like with the quips. Like you could definitely see like the MCU DNA in the way that action movies are now with the tone. Like they're just very different. And I feel like Scream kind of did the same thing for horror movies for at least a little while, especially in the 90s.
And that's a good thing, right?
Yeah, that's a good thing, I'd say. I mean,
yeah.
Depends.
How would you? I'm really curious about this because this is something I've wondered myself. How do you think? Just to put you on the spot, how do you think the Scream influenced future horror films? Because I always thought it did too, but I could never put my finger on it.
Well, it's a tone thing, I think, for sure. There's a very distinct look too about it that I think influenced and informed pretty much every 90s horror movie after it and bled very much into the early 2000s. I think some of it's negative in the same way that with the MCU, like they did it well, but then it bleeds and it continues and that tone gets flanderized and that method of making movies does until it gets tired,
That's a good point. Yeah, they sort of like they lean in on how like satirical it is. It like becomes a parody. Yeah, that's true. Yeah, they kind of it almost becomes a parody towards the end there. And what was it like Scream 4? Yeah, I mean the stab movies, right? Like using stab as sort of like, a way to make fun of the place these films are going. That's a good point. I didn't think about that. I got to revisit all of these again because I love this series. And Luke, I feel bad for Luke because we're probably going to spoil a lot today.
It's all right. Just one question: is Nev
Campbell,
isn't she in the following films?
Yeah, she's in the newest
all of them
ones.
except for 6.
Okay, that's with Jenna Ortega, right?
Yep.
6. Okay.
Man, I'm definitely interested in talking about those. I've avoided them on purpose because I just I watched the first one of the new ones, and I really didn't like what they did. Was that the 5th? I don't even know because I'm like I see it and I don't care. This is like one of those things. I don't want it to ruin things.
I think it was just called Scream, which is stupid, especially because the one before it was called Scream 4 and the one after it was called Scream 6. I have very mixed and conflicted opinions on it, so I'm definitely interested to talk about that one.
Okay, they really should have rebooted the franchise. They really should have put it to rest after right before the Jenna Ortega reboot, because it's one of those films, legendary films where you just have to you should just only have like a trilogy, bad example here, but Lord of the Rings, like you can't just like have a fourth Lord of the Rings movie where it's the same world and same universe.
Well,
you should
Luke,
just
you're
start
talking
over.
to Mr. 10 loves 10 Saw movies in a franchise.
Oh, don't get me started with
As a
Saw.
horror guy, having 13 movies in your franchise is a staple.
That's insane, man. How many Paranormal Activity? Oh no, not what is it?
That's-
The new
Rings.
Final Destination. How many Final Destinations are there?
We just had the 6th
5.
one.
Sixth
Oh,
one.
6.
Okay, so that's number
Yeah.
6.
That's like
Yeah,
a
I think-
remake, basically, right? Of the first.
No, it's definitely a sequel, but it actually like kind of does a lot of interesting new things, which is all you could really hope for in a 6th Final Destination movie.
Oh,
As long
cannot
as it's
do
not
those.
complete garbage. That's the thing. I hate to lower the standards, but when you're talking about the 6th in a horror franchise, mediocre is a good thing.
Right. It's like Sharknado at this point.
Yeah, something cool about Griffin is I think you watch pretty much all the horror films that come out, right?
Yeah, pretty much.
You're a
I
big,
I don't always
hardcore
catch
horror
them
fan.
immediately. But I try to at least.
Man,
That's
there's a lot.
awesome.
Yeah, there's a lot. I'm like, no thanks. That's
Yeah,
too
it's
good
like,
for me, or it's
um,
like, I don't want to see that.
I'm gonna jump off the tracks really quick, and then we can go right back on. It's just one simple question. Jackson and I have talked about this before. You're a big horror buff, so you'll for sure know about these 3 movies, the Grudge trilogy. What do you think?
Oh, The Grudge. I didn't even watch the whole trilogy. I watched the first one and was bored.
All right, back to Scream.
Oh no, do you love them?
Luke.
Sorry for asking.
Oh no, do you love them?
Oh.
Yes, I love them.
I like the one I don't like.
Yeah, of course.
Oh,
that's
I'm
the
sorry,
one.
Luke.
It's all right.
Poor Luke.
No, Jackson
I like
sent
that.
me the information beforehand.
Yeah, I know. Should have told him. So, let me set the scene for Scream real quick, because in case you guys, I hope there's someone in the audience that's watching maybe later on or not that hasn't seen Scream, because I think Scream is sort of a good entrance into horror. Like if you want to get into like serious horror, I think this is just it's a beautiful way to like put your foot in the door. The story's really interesting. We followed Neve Campbell. For me, I think this is like the only film I've actually seen her in. Sidney Prescott here. Let me see if I have a better picture of her somewhere. Oh yeah, I love this one. You see her over the years age. And for me, she is probably my favorite female character in anything. Not only because she's incredibly attractive, but also she's just a great lead character. Humble, beautiful, kind, compassionate, and really strong-willed and determined. And it's very authentic. It's rich. It's real. And she really cares about her friends and family. And everything just comes off as authentic. You can't help but to fall in love with her character and to fall in love with the characters around her. And she is, unfortunately, she's lived a rough life. Starting off here in the top left, 1996, nearly 30 years ago, a year before that time, her mother had just died. And she died tragically. She was murdered, and she was abused right before she was murdered. And that whole situation was incredibly dramatic and scarring for her. So she's been dealing with that. And 1 year later, there is a mass murderer on the loose, some serial killer, dressed as Ghostface. And Ghostface is kind of targeting a lot of people kind of close to her inner circle, a lot of just random people at the high school. And the whole film is sort of, it's a whodunit, and it's a classic like cat and mouse where, poor Sydney here goes through hoops and ladders trying to escape the horrifying killer that you just can't help but to wonder who it is. And the movie just beautifully, gives us little hints and tales as to confuse you and to lead you down a path that isn't exactly correct about who the killer actually is. It's very clever with how it's done. And gosh, what is it? It's not Wes Craven. Wes Craven, he's the creator of this, and he just did a wonderful job with that. I mean, it's kind of like Nads here is in the comments. She called me out because she said that she doesn't believe that Scream is a horror comedy. And I disagree. I do think it is a horror comedy, and I want to get into that later because a lot of it is kind of played for laughs, especially like post the first film. I think Scream 1 is probably the most serious of all the movies, maybe leading up to the newest ones that have come out, because, they become more satirical.
I'm definitely interested to get into that topic.
Oh, yeah, definitely, man. Yeah, so feel free to just bring it up later, too.
Yeah.
But Yeah, Wes Craven, he just does a beautiful job giving us a mysterious tale, a who done it, and he gives us great characters. My gosh,
Yeah.
I want us to each talk about what we think is special about the Scream franchise, especially this first film, because you can't help but to just love these main characters here. And Sidney Prescott, as I spoke about her. Then you have a Dewey here, Deputy Dewey. He looks all serious here, right above the A.
Yeah,
but he really isn't.
Yeah, I don't know what he's doing.
Character of the movie.
Yeah,
Besides
literally.
Matthew Lillard, but
yeah, he's not super serious. He's charismatic, he's brave, he's a compassionate guardian to Sydney and to their friends. And he also becomes like the lover boy to the beautiful Courtney Cox, Gale Weathers. And something I love about his character is, he always has everyone's best interest in mind. And it's you really don't see that very much in movies nowadays, and really not really that much overall in total. He's just a truly caring guardian angel to all the lovely people in each one of these films, and you can't help but to love him. All these characters are just so lovable in different ways. Randy, who isn't on the poster here, I love Randy. My gosh, he's sort of the jokester, he's the video guy, he's the conspiracist. And he he adds a lot of comedic value, of course, but he also brings a lot of heart too, and you can't help but to level with his character. And then also you have Gale Weathers here, Courtney Cox, who Luke, you weren't entirely sure if that was Courtney Cox or not when we were watching
I was looking at her, I was like, I want to say something, but I don't want to look like an idiot. And then the more I looked at her character, I was like, that's Monica from Friends. Look at that.
Well, something too is just, I think the promotion of the movie so interesting because they have Drew Barrymore on the cover, and that sleight of hand I think is just so interesting. I love the idea of going to see a movie and just having the rug pulled out from under you first thing at the beginning of the movie like that. You don't see that nowadays. You get these, like, especially with horror movies, you get trailers that show you everything, and marketing like this I just don't think is that prevalent anymore.
No. Yeah, that ruins it. That's a good point. Yeah. When was the last time we had a real shocker, like right off the bat like that? Yeah, I mean, look at her. She's a prominent character. She's more prominent than anyone else here. Yeah, that's such a good surprise there. Good catch, Griffin. And yeah, she has like that. I think that's that's a really important scene too. That's sort of like she says so on the phone at the very beginning. The movie introduces you to Carrie Drew Barrymore's character, and you think, oh, this is, she's the it girl, right? She's going to be the Scream Queen. She's going to lead this series because, Neve Campbell looks like a secondary character here. And, she gets a call from the Ghostface himself. She's flirting with him, doesn't realize what's about to happen. Her boyfriend dies. And then right before she dies herself and gets horribly massacred. It was really hard to watch that again. But she actually kind of reveals something interesting on the phone. She talks about how, like, they always have some big dumb-breasted woman that's a victim and runs away and can't do anything. And you know what? I hate to say it, that was her character here. And she immediately gets killed off. So I think that sort of set a precedent. Like, this is not going to be that movie. This is going to be a change. This isn't what you're used to. And I think that's a prominent feature that makes this movie stand out, because the Scream series is special, and there really hasn't been anything else like it. So
it's almost like Psycho, right?
Yeah, I would agree with that. But also, sorry, I don't mean to cut anyone off.
You're good. Keep going.
But it's that self-awareness you're talking about that I think makes the movie so special. I was looking back at my notes from when I reviewed it the first time, and like something I noted too was that they acknowledged several times throughout the movies, like, why would she run out? Why wouldn't she just run out the door instead of run up the stairs? And they have those moments of active acknowledgement that, and then when shit goes down, you get the ghost face in. You don't make the right decision when you're in fight or flight. You do the stupid thing, you run up the stairs, you make the bad call, that gets you killed. It's that stuff. It's just like you said with how she acknowledges it on the phone, and she becomes exactly what, like with Randy when he's on the couch and he's like, he's right behind you. Like, it's that kind of stuff.
I'm glad you mentioned that, because I don't know if they did it on purpose, but the scene where where she was being chased around the house, they happened to play the scene from Halloween, the original Halloween, where the same exact thing with Jamie Lee Curtis was going on. She was running around the upstairs, hiding.
Yep.
And the same, it was like, I think they did that on purpose, obviously. Which I thought was pretty funny.
Yeah, there's a lot of foreshadowing, right? That makes
big time. And I liked how they use the sound effects in the background of the Halloween. Wow.
That's
I thought that was really cool because I'm a huge fan of Halloween, and it just I don't know, it just felt refreshing to hear those sound effects again.
So why don't you guys tell me, because I don't know how big Scream is a part of your life. Obviously, Luke, you were just introduced, so maybe more so you, Griffin. What do you think special about the Scream series, especially the first film?
Yeah, so Scream's it's a franchise that pretty much since the fourth movie came out, and I think it was 2011, I saw the poster with the ghost face and instantly was obsessed with it. Watched the movies. I was like 11. Got totally obsessed with them, and just been a fan ever since. I don't think it's like one of my favorites. Maybe I like Chucky, Freddy, Saw, probably my favorite. But Scream is definitely, and this isn't this is a pretty common thing to point out. It's safe quality. Not every movie's great, but their bottom, their worst day as a Scream movie, it's a hell of a lot better than almost any other franchise. Halloween's
That's a good point.
Way worse. And just Scream, you could just generally, at the very least, you're in for a good time, even if it's not the best movie.
Right.
Overall.
Yeah. Hands down, they should have stopped at Halloween 1.
Yeah, they got super silly. I think that's so funny about when they rebooted. I guess, do you call it a reboot when the newest trilogy?
No, that was same
timelines with Halloween.
The season of the witch, which is a different universe.
Oh yeah, that was when they were trying to make it what's it called, anecdotal stories. I forget what it's called.
Yeah, on Halloween 3 they played Halloween on the TV.
Yeah,
it was.
Wow,
so it's a different universe, and they call it Halloween 3 for some reason.
Literally the only one without. Michael
you're talking
Myers
about the witch one?
Yeah, season of the witch. Yeah.
Oh,
but also
watching. I've been curious about that.
Really quick, just to not get off topic, but when we were talking about the character that died right off the bat, it's funny. Horror with the Nads pointed out that her profile pic is that lady. She's supposed to be that lady.
I keep wanting to call her Carrie Fisher for some reason. Drew Barrymore. Yeah, good point. Yeah, here, let's talk with the chat real quick. Thank you all for joining us today.
I have a few.
We appreciate you guys for joining us.
My girlfriend's trolling me in the comments.
Nice, of course. Such a troll. Proctophile. What's up, guys? How we doing tonight? We're doing good, man. Yeah, school does suck, man. School.
I bet you were one of the popular kids, Proctophile.
Proctophile
you were one of the kids that shoved kids in the locker, weren't you?
He'd bully us if he was in our school.
Yeah.
Imagine, all right, Proctophile says, imagine developing technology advanced enough to safely travel to other planets, but you can't figure out how to avoid the hazards on it. That's science. Yeah, I guess so. Nice. Oh, HBO Entertainment.
Got a fan.
GM Light. Ooh, very official. Proctophile, you're both right about knowing when to stop. It's great knowing when to quit, but when it comes to franchises like Saw, you may as well run that shit into the ground.
And I'll eat it up every time, dude.
You
want to talk about slop? I'm there day one every time there's a new Saw movie.
Nice.
I like Jigsaws with Chris Rock, honestly. I don't know. I just
that's a hot take, but I really like that one too, actually.
Yeah, I enjoyed it.
Underrated.
My first Saw movie,
Oh.
Hey, good way to start.
You started really late.
Yeah, I did the ripe Saw 9.
I didn't start with
that's
Dr.
my
Phil
buddy
and
around
Shaq.
the felt.
Nice. Up, man. Let's go. This is fire. Hell yeah. Oh, great. She's about to roast me. Sly Jester, aren't there already 12 Conjuring movies? Yeah, technically.
Not as bad as Insidious.
Don't make fun of Conjuring, Griffin. I love the Conjuring series.
And then I don't know, man. It gets into that studio. I don't know. It gets cynical to me.
Not as bad as the Insidious franchise, in my opinion.
Oh yeah, that last one was rough. That was really disappointing. Hey Cass, hey guys, welcome. All right, Nad's got something. I love the whole franchise, the good and bad. That's good. It's the Mission Impossible of horror.
Entries, so I kind of agree.
Yes, that's a good way to put it. Horror.
I wonder by the end of the stream, you can convince me to watch the new one or not.
6?
Because I watched because I watched the one before that, and I didn't even watch that one. I have no interest at all.
I don't know. If you don't like 5, I feel like 6 is a tough sell.
I love Jenna
really
though. Does that help?
She's definitely more prevalent and she's better, I would say.
That was the first movie I ever saw, or like the first feature of any kind I saw with Jenna was 5.
Yeah.
Because she was like, and I thought she was great. I wasn't like attracted to her character at all, but I thought she was great and I liked her. And I remember literally leaving the theater and like, man, I liked that poor girl in the wheelchair or whatever she was. I don't even remember. She was like,
no, she's just an abject terror.
Crutches.
Movie.
Yeah, poor girl. I felt her. Horror with Nads, the newer one coming out soon, rumored. It's based off the script that they were originally thinking for the 3rd. Oh, wow. That's cool.
Risa, you were not wrong.
Where Stu is alive and escapes prison. Jeez, he's old now. Yeah, I guess they're talking about bringing him back. We'll have to talk about that later. Oh, hey, Sin, thanks for joining us. Let's hope it's better than the last 2. Yes, Sin is on my team. I don't even want to watch the new ones. Any movie, Sly Jester, any movie David Arquette every movie David Arquette is in is a comedy, except Bone Tomahawk. Oh, I love David Arquette. I've had the pleasure of meeting him, and I had a great interaction with him a while ago.
Oh, great con guest. He's been on my list for a while.
He's cool. You know, when I met him, we'll talk about it later, but he had no line. Nobody wanted to meet him.
What?
Everyone was
That's crazy to me.
Everyone was in Matthew Lillard's line and Jamie Kennedy, which is reasonable, but nobody was in his.
Wow.
So I talked to him for a while. Yeah.
Poor guy.
That was sad. Yeah. Oh, here you go. Rissa, you tell him, Griff. There you go. She's dressed. All right. Proctophile wants to rewatch Scary Movie. Nice.
What's up?
Nice. I haven't seen those. I've been avoiding them.
Really?
Gosh,
it is a great Scream spoof. It's hilarious.
Oh gosh, I don't know.
That's the what's up meme.
Do you guys feel like with these Scream movies, do you think it's like, well, I guess you're the only one that can talk about this, Griffin. Do you think it's kind of obvious, the mystery, like trying to figure out who's who? Like when you watch
something I wanted to ask Luke actually about this, since you know, because like, I mean, you know, you and I are probably so far divorced from at this point remembering, because I don't remember at all if I could see it coming when I watched the first one. And I'm like, I was very curious when I heard Luke hadn't seen it before, what he thought while watching it.
Oh, I unfortunately knew.
Oh, okay.
I didn't know.
That sucks.
I mean, I feel like what's his name? Stu. He did a great job of hiding it, you know, with his humor and everything. I feel like the other guy, the main what is his name? Randy? No, not Randy. Billy. Yeah, he was not convincing. I mean, he showed like no concern with anything.
Yeah, he acts like such a freak.
He was a bad freak. He's a bad liar. He wasn't trying to defend himself whatsoever when he climbed through the window right after Sydney was attacked. I don't know. At first, I thought it was just him. But then I was like, wait, I know he had a partner and he is buddy with Stu over here. So I kind of knew, but I didn't know how it was. I didn't know how it was going to play out. If
you seemed shocked to me. I remember at the very end, you looked shocked. I was like, thank goodness.
I knew. I didn't want to let you down partially because I saw you looking over at me. I was like, all right. I'll give him a shot. What?
You did that. You literally did that, and it was for nothing. You liar.
Oh well, I mean, it was entertaining, and I didn't know how it happened, so I like to see that. I mean, it was new to me, but I knew what was going to happen.
So that's a shame. It's hard to keep something like that under wraps. I mean, they have I think these two. I mean, that's the iconic horror duo right there. It's Skeet Ulrich and
you know, this whole scene, I cannot get the Scary Movie part out of my head where they're like gay for each other. It is the funniest thing. Like it is so funny. I thought that was going to happen in this. I'm like, wait, no, that's a Scary Movie. That's not going to happen in this film.
Is that what spoiled it for you? A Scary Movie?
No, but the Scary Movie part is very funny with these guys. It is great. You have to watch it. It's classic.
Gosh. All right.
Hilarious.
That sounds funny. Like, look at that. I mean, that's what you think's happening right here.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, these guys are really special. Yeah, I also got to meet Skeet Ulrich I'll talk about that later.
Oh, that's.
But
I think I saw a picture that.
yeah, I have
Yeah.
that saved here. I have more
awesome.
pictures of me with them, but it has like kind of sensitive information, so I'm not going to share that.
Oh,
with
gotcha.
everyone. So just like but okay, yeah. So these guys, yeah, I love these guys. I think they're awesome. Billy. It's so annoying to me, like how many people, like a lot of the girls I've known in my life, friends and whatever else, they all love this guy. They have huge crushes on him. It's like, that's not very
Skeet Ulrich?
encouraging to, yeah,
Who,
it's not very
Shaggy?
encouraging
Shaggy
for
or
normal people.
He's the bad boy.
Skeet Ulrich, Billy. Like, why would you like him? He's
got a
so
bad hair, dude.
freaky.
I have one thing. I was gonna say this at the beginning. You know who he reminds me of and would be a great alternative character for him? Old Johnny Depp. I mean,
I see that.
like
kind of looks like the way he did in Nightmare.
What's Eating Gilbert Grape?
What do you
That
mean
was not
young Johnny
Well,
Depp?
like he had like long hair and he had like kind of like the
I
same
haven't
like
seen that movie. Just
same
also
facial I don't know, just like same like jawline and just the swagger face or whatever you want to call it. He just gave me Johnny Depp vibes, like like
I
90s.
can see that. Yeah.
Griffin, I have a question for you because I'm wondering this. I haven't revisited the sequels to this in a little while. Scream 2, 3, 4, all the other ones, and I'm mixed about this. So
yeah,
because they kind of go back to the past a lot, and they sort of like reveal new information about like Sydney's past and her mom. With Cotton Weary, and it's confusing to me because at the very end of this film, these two, they confirm that they're the ones that killed her mom. But I remember later on that it's like, I feel like in a sequel, it comes to a different conclusion. Does that answer change at all? Were they just talking? Do you know the answer to this?
Yeah, Scream 3. And I don't know, should I talk about it?
Yeah.
All right. No, I don't know what's next.
Luke, yeah, you can spoil.
No, trust me.
That's why people are here.
And the thing is, Scream 3 does, I would say, the big thing that I don't like in a whodunit. So I'd say what the laziest thing a whodunit could do is supposedly kill off a person and then have them come back at the end and turn out to be the killer, because it's such a cheap way to get them off of the suspect list. I like narrowing it down and guessing throughout the movie, and I feel like when you pretend the character's dead, it just, it's cheap. It's a cheap way to get a surprise out of you. So that's what they do with this guy, Roman. He turns out to be Sydney's half brother, and
that's right.
Abandoned him, doing Billy up to it to kill him.
I remember that.
Yeah, like it's that revisionism that third movies always do, like Spider-Man 3 with having Sandman be the one who really killed Uncle Ben and stuff like that. It just, I don't know why you would retcon things like that kind of undercut not the severity of what Billy and Stu did, but it just turns them retrospectively into lackeys,
Yeah, they didn't do it right. I mean, that's sort of like, that was like
they were put up to it.
Emergent force.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay, so that then reveals that they didn't do it, that it was the brother.
They did do it, but the brother put them up to it, basically.
Oh.
Like the brother put them up to doing it, not that they like came up with the idea themselves or anything, which is also
I remember that.
I got a beer. I don't know if you mind.
Hey, there you go. Yeah, take a swig, man. Take a swig. Enjoy yourself. We're here to
drink
chill.
Drink up.
All right.
I got my water and my red Solo cup.
Okay, water. All right.
Keeping it clean. Keep it clean. Got a show to run. Yeah.
It's YouTube. You never know.
You never know, man. We're gonna see with you, Griffin. First time on here. See how crazy it gets. But good point. Okay, I'm glad you elaborated there because it's confusing to me, and that's a good point.
And then the fifth one too, like Melissa Barrera's character being Billy's daughter.
That was weird.
It's more shit like that.
When I met him, I remember Skeet Ulrich, because I met him right before that movie came out, and he, I just made a joke about him coming back as a ghost, and then he just kind of gave me this look, and he literally came back as a ghost.
Yeah.
It was so fun. I couldn't believe it. I'm like, wow, Skeet Ulrich is a ghost in this movie right now. This is crazy.
Yeah.
Or he was like a vision or something. I mean, I don't know what he was.
Her like mental illness manifesting itself.
Yeah.
It's one of those things.
Yeah, that was silly.
Extra,
they shouldn't have taken it there.
It's
only gonna get worse. Definitely want to talk about the sequels later on. Gosh, what were we running on about? We were talking about oh yeah, we were talking about Billion. Okay, yeah. So why don't we start talking about our favorite scenes from the film? Because man, it felt so good watching this again. I was telling Luke, growing up, my family thankfully let me have quite a few parties growing up. I had some good parties, a lot of good Halloween parties that Luke remembers, and
they got out of hand, man.
They weren't that bad.
I know.
Later on, once I graduated, they got a little crazy. But something that was always commonplace in the house was we always had Scream on. Scream was always the perfect party movie where people can just like casually just jump in and have a fun time watching it. It doesn't really take too much of an investment to get into it, and it's really one of those rare movies that doesn't really get old. It felt good like sitting down watching it again. I feel like there's been so many times when I'm like half watching it or I'm busy,
or like putting it on when I'm editing or something.
Right.
Yeah.
So
oh, sorry.
No, you go. Feel free to.
Yeah, like I guess I watched it 2 years ago when Scream 6 came out. Was the last time I saw it. Like I said, but it doesn't get old. It's actually pretty timeless, and that party at the end, that was my metric of like, this is what I want a high school party to be.
Hell yeah, for real. And you know what? I mean, that's kind of how they were. Well, like they weren't like that crazy for me back then, but I mean, we had good groups of people, and we had.
Jackson was on the roof. He was doing backflips into the pool.
That's me, man. That's me. Nah, some people were doing weird stuff like that, but I guess for me, like some of my favorite scenes, I think overall, I just enjoyed the tension between Neve Campbell and Billy, Skeet Ulrich. I think I loved their relationship because, she was always so like, she really didn't know what to do with him, but she liked him. Yeah. And, he was always so frustrated with her. I thought that was kind of funny. And I love just sort of the rubber banding between their relationship. I thought that was real interesting. Another great relationship I enjoyed watching was Dewey and Gale. I was so happy for him. I'm like, let's go, bro. You got this. You're pulling right now. It's working out great for you. I loved seeing that develop.
I think they're the heart and soul of the franchise, honestly.
Who?
Dewey and Gale.
Well, okay. Explain.
It's just and this is also too one of the things. I don't want to jump ahead again, but this is one of the things with Scream 5 is that they Han Solo'd Dewey. They turn him into a bum. He's divorced.
Oh, good point.
4 movies, like when Wes Craven was directing, their relationship was one of the really enduring and endearing things about it, and you see it develop. And even with the 4th movie, all those years later, seeing them still together was, I thought like touching. Like it's nice to see characters kind of grow and develop. And that's one of those things that I appreciated that they kept with Scream 4.
I'm glad you brought that up because all these characters, that's something that's also great about the series is they do develop. They get older, you sort of a lot happens behind the scenes, which makes it kind of interesting. Like in between movies, drama ensues between relationships, or they fall out or someone moves, they come back, and they always find a good way of introducing new characters, new supporting cast into the mix.
And I think in a believable way too.
Yeah, it all feels rich. It feels real, and they all feel like people too. And it's kind of like it does kind of have a weird like. I know this is such a weird stretch, but I do kind of feel similar to like Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man films for some reason, especially like after hearing what you said about Spider-Man 3, like with Sandman. Now I'm connecting some really weird dots here, and like for
same universe.
Yeah, save you. I wish that would be.
Did Billy really kill Uncle Ben?
Yeah. Billy killed Uncle Ben. I don't change my mind.
It wasn't Sandman. No. So, I mean, just like Toby's movies, I loved the main cast there. You know, the big three. You know, you had Toby, you had Harry, and then you had Mary Jane. And here, it's like you can't help but to feel so drawn into the lives of Sydney, Dewey, Gail, and well, I guess those are the big three, right? Yeah,
they feel like people you know. You know, I mean, it's especially Randy's a little too relatable, but you know,
yeah, for real. Yeah, we relate to him in ways we don't want to relate to him, unfortunately. Yeah. But do you guys have any like special moments that you love about Scream 1? Luke, why don't you start, because you're fresh.
I told you this while we were watching the movie, and I still have the same opinion. It was so incredibly funny to me. Just so when after he was just caught, he was on the phone. I believe he was on the phone with Nev Campbell. It was
I know
Stu. Yeah, Stu. He was like, my parents are gonna be so angry with me.
Oh yeah,
it's like laughed out of me again last night. I've seen it like 80 times before.
So fun. That is the funniest and best scene in my opinion, because he's already so like so boned. He's stabbed. he's about to go to prison for life or die on
so fucking.
I know it's hilarious. It's like it's the fact that he's only afraid that his parents are gonna be mad at him. Like he made a little mistake. Is so funny.
My parents are gonna be so mad at me.
Oh, so funny. Gosh, 10 out of 10.
Awesome. Saying it like he forgot to take out the trash.
Yeah, right.
Oh gosh. All right, that's a good one, Luke. I remember you dropping that. Yeah, he really is. I mean, he steals the show here. And the thought of him like coming back, like it's such a stretch now that he's this old, and now he comes back into the picture. Like because
he wasn't intended to be like this mastermind character that I would think if they're bringing him back and he's alive and they're not just doing what they did with Skeet Ulrich and the other two movies. He's just not believable as a mastermind.
No,
like, he's kind of like he's a dummy. He's a follower. Like he's the goofier side of that. And not that like he's not menacing as Ghostface, but like he's not that guy. Like that's all it is. It just wouldn't be believable if he was like, I've been masterminding this whole time as Ghostface. Like if they did something goofy like that in Scream 7, I don't know how I'd receive it.
Yeah.
You know?
I think Randy would be more believable. I always thought I loved the rumor of him being the mastermind and coming up, and he's been like employing all these little like bots, you know, this crappy, stupid little ghost faces over the years. Movie. That'd be so messed up too, man. Yeah. That's way more interesting. Yeah, Stu is not a mastermind.
Pulled into the van.
That's
all you see. You don't see Randy get actually killed.
Good catch. There you go. Spoiling more for Luke.
Yeah, sorry, Luke.
That's all right. It's unavoidable.
It's all right. We willingly spoiled plenty of new releases. So I'd be a hypocrite if I got upset about spoiling a 30-year-old movie.
Yeah, we're happy to spoil trash new movies that come out. We'll just spoil it sometimes.
Hey, Wilkie.
Yeah. Wilkie's here, something, man. Wilkie, you gotta add me back on X, man. Add me back on X. I'm trying to message you. You're a hard man to reach. Griffin, what about you? What are some of your favorite moments rewatching Scream?
This is pretty basic, but the thing that really drew me into Scream 2, like besides that, I would say like when I was looking up Scream after seeing Scream 4 and being like, fuck, that poster looks cool. I watched that opening scene of that first one and was just like, I need to watch this movie right now. That beginning scene is just so well written. It functions almost as a movie. And there's nothing to add to it. But beyond that, I would say there's some good chases. And I think it's like some of the character details that stick out to me more than it is like the
plot
sequences,
points.
yeah, like that is the big sequence that really pops out. Obviously, I mean that's especially that subversion. I think is just insane. But I'd say like most of Randy's lines, just I always find so funny. Even like little moments like him at the video store, just like chirping Stu. Like,
oh, that was awesome.
Yeah,
I love him simping for Sydney. It's like,
Yeah.
oh, come on, you got this, Randy.
He was
You
the
got
true
this.
love interest.
Oh, he was, yeah.
Oh man, he would have saved the day. But not to interrupt, but the first scene, I really, or were you done speaking about the first scene?
Oh yeah, yeah.
All right, so I was going to say something negative about it, but the more I was thinking about it, the more I actually enjoyed it because it was actually pretty realistic and straightforward. Like there were like you know, Ghostface was acting like how any serial killer would act in real life. It wasn't like any of like the fake slasher movies where like, you know, she turns around, no one's there, and then she turns back around and he's right there in his face. It was very realistic. Like you see him running in the house. Yeah, and then it's just it was also tragic, but in a good way, if that makes sense. Like we were like it's tragic. Not it means that it was horrible for the parents in the movie. It was horrible for if it were a real thing, that'd be horrible and horrific. But they did a really good job at like, you know, at the terror that the viewers were experiencing. Like it was awful.
Yeah, it's believable. Yeah.
Like right like in front of the parents. Like that is
it's
pretty
brutal.
bad.
Yeah.
And you know, he was doing, like I said, he was acting like a real serial killer. He was not like holding her off, or he was down to the he was down to the point and just stabbing her without hesitation or anything.
Yeah, it's like that stuff, and you see like it's like her desperately trying to fight and defend herself while he's just, you know, it's that kind, like those kinds of touches that I think adds to that.
Right. Sorry, Jackson. Can I say stab?
Yeah.
It's
not one of the trigger words.
Okay, we have trigger words, and you made a face.
Not like for us, it's for YouTube, you know. And that's not one of them.
Hey,
and also,
you're gonna hurt his feelings.
And
also, YouTube, right?
Yeah. I feel like Ghostface really needs to.
I feel like set off easy. I forget sometimes when I'm talking.
I know it's easy to forget.
We said some things, but we that's why we invented trigger words.
That's right.
But I feel like one thing I also really quick didn't like about Ghostface, his character, you know, he was. It feels like all you have to do is like push him and he'd fall backwards.
Yeah,
and like,
he's a clown.
He's so clumsy and so like he needs to. You know, we already know who it is. They're pretty scrawny, but yeah, I feel like he was very clumsy and you know, not too good.
That's part of the funniness, right? I mean, it's sort of like there's so many ironic moments where they like
thundering bastard sometimes.
Oh yeah. I mean, it's like, come on, how can you not like? Okay, I think the comedic. If we could talk about that real quick, because I am curious. Because, like I said, Nads, she does horror reviews and talks about horror films often. She didn't think that this was a horror comedy, but I think it's primarily horror for sure. I think it's a good balance. Comedy's definitely a prevalent element to it, and they are clearly trying to be funny too. I mean, not just like Jamie Kennedy, you know, Randy, as you know, the comical character, but I mean, you know, it's satirical. It kind of makes fun of horror, and it you know, it foreshadows like other horror films like Halloween and such, right? In a funny way. And I think like one of my favorite scenes that I forgot to mention is the very end. And I love it when they do this, where they have to like, you know, Randy's like, you know, oh, you know, you got to be careful because, you know, this is the point in the time in the movie when the villain comes back for one last scare. And then he resurrects for a second. And then he gets shot in the face. I love that. Just stuff like that. It just hits. And it's just
pretty funny. I almost take it as a like besides the comedy, I put it like a thriller drama. I mean, what do you think? I mean, because like it's you know, it's traumatic, a lot of the scenes, but you know, it's not like hide under your blanket necessarily. It's more of like a drama with like some thriller in it, with some comedy.
It's like part of me, because it has a lot of comedy in it, but I feel almost hesitant to call it a horror comedy, because like when I think of a horror comedy, I think of Scary Movie or Bride of Chucky, one of the ones that have a level of absurdity to it. I don't think Scream has a level of absurdity to it, but it has a heavy satirical, self-aware comedic element to it. And it's like, it's such a fine line, because I would say, like, just getting back to MCU stuff, like Guardians of the Galaxy, I'd say that's a comedy, like an action comedy, or but Avengers, like, I don't know if I'd call it a comedy, but there's a lot of comedy in it.
Yeah,
and I feel kind of the same way about Scream, where it's like, it's a horror movie, has a lot of comedy in it, but I don't know if it would push the envelope into absurdity enough for me to classify it as a horror comedy or call it like comedy.
Okay,
I like what you did with the MCU, Griff.
Hang back to.
Of course you do.
We all enjoy the Griff. You like the MCU, right?
Yeah, I like the MCU. I mean,
I
fell off for a while, but
it's okay. But they came back, right?
No, they didn't come back.
But
they're
coming back, right?
I mean, that's like tough for me to say. Overall, no.
That's
I like
right.
Thunderbolts, and
all right.
Like, that's the
thing. I'm just teasing, but I like what you did with the saying whether it was a like comedy, because I feel like there was almost a equal amount of comedy in between, and it was two different universes, obviously, but Scream and let's say like one of the Iron Man movies. They were like funny, like Robert Downey Jr. He was a funny, sarcastic character in there, and I feel like that's a good comparison. We all love the MCU, but we can talk about that another day. But
especially Phase 4 and 5.
Yes, there we go. Okay.
Oh,
see, I like the way points for you, Griffin.
Somehow MCU gets into the mix.
Oh yeah, it always does.
Oh gosh, yeah. Well, here I want to talk about. It looks like I'm missing a picture that I thought I downloaded real quick, so I'll have to find that real quick before we get into talking about the many different ghost faces. I want to try to find that image beforehand. Why don't you tell us a little bit about the sequels, Griffin, if you can, because I have not been that interested. I thought right off the bat with Scream 5, that was the one. Scream 5, where it's finally back after what, like 10 years, 12 years, or probably 10
much.
years. And Nev Campbell's old, Dewey's in it, Gale's in it. But they're not the leads anymore. It follows.
It's a passing of it's the Force Awakens. It's a passing of the torch movie. Pretty much
for me, I did not.
Textbook.
I think what really turned me off about that, and this is a major spoiler, is they had, first off, I cannot stand Mickey Madison or whatever her name is, Mikey Madison. She's my least favorite actor that's come of this generation. And you know what? I think this movie is the reason for it. I think this is why. She is the ghost face in this. And this is a big spoiler, but she kills Dewey. And this little girl, she's like 90 pounds. She like guts him from the back. And it's like, how on earth did you do this? It's like impossible that she'd be able to do that. And that just, oh my gosh. It's
funny you're talking about this. I was actually thinking about that today, and I was like, yeah, like if we're talking about the sequels, I might bring that up because that bugs me.
Yeah, so why don't you tell us a little bit about the sequels while I look for this picture real quick?
Is 5 and 6 what?
Yeah, 5 and 6. Yeah.
Yeah, 5 and 6 are a very interesting case. And I actually like 6 a good amount. I think that it revamps the franchise in a way where it respects the past a lot more, I would say, than 5. Interesting setting with the city, but very uninspired killer reveals by the end of it. And I'm not that guy who like thinks he's smarter than movies, or but I will say with 5 and 6, their weakest points are that they have the most obvious killer reveals.
Oh, sorry.
And there they are. And 5 too is also such a unique case because I think that it's so odd because especially with the killer motivation, they thought that they were a lot more clever than they thought they were, or that they thought they were a lot more clever than they were with what they did. I assume the toxic fandom stuff.
Yeah.
It's just not actually that clever, but it seemed like it really thought it was, and that stuff kind of annoyed me. But I do find the new cast pretty likable in the movie. It's I like how Ghostface is very vicious in the fifth one. They have great set pieces, and they set up the characters pretty well. And at least with Gale and Sydney, I think they respect them a good amount. Dewey's very good in the movie, but I don't like what they do with him.
Yeah.
And so you're in this odd situation where you have these trade-offs, and it's, I think at the same time that it's the safest Scream sequel, it's also in some ways the most like polarizing, I think. I would think, at least.
Okay,
Yeah.
well, good things to say about him. That's surprising. So did you think 6 was better than 5?
Yeah, I'd say significantly. Yeah.
Oh, wow. Okay. So you think I should watch it?
I don't know, because I would say that some of the stuff, if you really didn't like Scream 5, I don't know if you'd get into Scream 6.
Okay.
And the thing is, I thought that there were very salvageable things in Scream 5 that carried forward in the Scream 6, and they improved on that, bring it up for me a good bit. Scream 5, I kind of came out of it like, yeah, I enjoyed it, but it's like definitely lower. I even probably actually put it at the bottom now, over Scream 3.
Oh, wow.
When I think about its flaws, because Scream 5 has very bad flaws when you think about it. If you don't think about it, it's perfectly entertaining.
Yeah.
But it has so many problems, and it's very safe, despite killing one of the main characters, which you would think it wouldn't be. But in today's
wait, they do that in 6?
In 5.
Oh,
Sorry,
5,
I think I'm going back and forth and not.
No, you're fine.
About, with 5, I think that it's the safest sequel. At the same time, it does some really annoying shit.
I'm not a big fan of, what is it, Jack Quaid? I don't care about him. He's the young actor here.
But I like him.
You like Jack Quaid? A lot of people like him. I don't get it. Okay.
I'm really gonna have to jump into this conversation because I've seen a scene. I don't know why. I've seen a scene from Scream 6. I feel like over time the character, I know they're different. Different people in the Ghostface mask throughout the franchise, throughout the storyline, but I feel like over time, Ghostface has become much more dark. And because I saw a scene from Scream 6, I believe, where there were like 3-4 people in the gas station with some workers, and he took down all of them.
He walks with a shotgun.
Yeah, like vicious, a vicious murder, and it was like, not like there's nothing silly about it. Like,
no, that's what I will definitely compliment the 5th and 6th movie on, is that they have very vicious portrayals of Ghostface. And that shotgun scene in the 6th movie is one of the most metal scenes in the whole franchise.
Yeah,
it's actually really intense.
Wow,
it is.
Okay.
It's a great scene, actually.
It's terrific. It gives me like almost Michael Myers vibes. There's no hope of stopping him unless
the shotgun. Yeah, what the hell are you gonna do?
Yeah.
Is that like his primary weapon in the movie, or is it just
no? It's just one scene where he just catches a cop by surprise and gets the gun from him.
Man,
that's what it was.
Yeah.
Jeez, that's interesting.
Yeah.
Okay.
And if you don't mind me asking, who was Ghostface in Scream 6? Just so we can.
So, and this is easily the worst part of the movie. So you have in the 5th movie, you have Melissa Barrera's boyfriend, who is Jack Quaid, turn out to be the killer, one of the killers besides Mickey Madison. The 6th movie, his father, his brother, and his sister, all pretending to be not related to him, turn out to be wanting revenge. So it's, not only a rehash of Scream 2 with the parent of the killer from the 1st movie, the killer,
the old lady.
They just act so cartoonish at the end. It's easily the worst part of Scream 6. Brings it down like half to a like half a star, 1 star, I'd even say.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, that's their fault for making a Scream 6. I mean, in my opinion. But also, since we're talking about awful things, let me just say something really quick. These posters, the first 3 are awful.
Oh,
I mean,
no. Okay,
no.
wait a second. The first poster there is bad, but there's like, okay, so you see the next 2 and 3. There's one of those for Scream 1. I love those posters.
How does that sell the movie? I mean, it shows nothing about.
It's awesome.
It shows two
love
people.
it.
Like, I mean, what?
I like the mystery of the first poster. And then
Here,
4,
I
think
back.
that they
I'm
were
gonna
like,
grab my poster.
It's been a while. Like, we could
second.
just sell it off of the ghost face mask. People will get into it.
Scream 4 and 6 are my favorite. I mean, Scream 4 is a pretty cool one. I mean, it shows Ghostface. The first poster shows Ghostface. Scream 6, that makes Ghostface look very dark. I mean, look at that mask.
Well, the mask is like the Ghostface in it takes the one from the original movie.
Oh, okay. I like that.
And it's like all crusted and like old. Like that's
kind of like Halloween.
Yeah, like it reminded me of when Michael Myers gets the burned mask.
Yeah, that's.
Let me see if I can show everyone something.
But I will say, Scream 6. I think that poster, they could have done such a cool poster, and I think that they probably have a cool alternative one. They could have done something so cool with the city, like making the city be Ghostface or something. But this is like just a floating head poster. Like,
oh, come on, these posters are cool. Here, let me show you.
6.
Okay, good. Let me show you real quick. This is my autographed poster I have. I've been collecting autographs for years. Let me see. How can I put it on here? I guess I'll have to do it like this. All right, here we go. So here it is.
Oh, damn. That's awesome.
Yeah, isn't that cool? Here, because of the reflection, I got to like hold it like that. But
yeah, that's the tough thing.
Isn't that cool?
Wait,
really
cool. You say you love that? You love that poster? Did Nev tell you to? Did Nev tell you to say that?
To say what?
Is that why you're simping over that poster? Did Nev tell you that?
Endorsement, yeah. Here, let me put us all back on. I wanted to show that. It's sweet, cool. Man. I love the poster.
Cool. I really admire how you two went out of the way to meet these guys. That is really cool.
Yeah. We'll talk about that later. We're gonna leave that on a cliffhanger. All right, yeah. Real quick, let's why don't we rank these real quick? Griffin, I think you'll probably have the best criticism here. Do you have a ranking in mind for the first 6 Scream films?
I could probably shoot from the hip.
Yeah.
I might have done a ranking video a while ago, I don't remember, but just like off the top of my head, I'd probably put Scream 5 at the bottom. Just for the reasons I said, it's the safest, meanwhile doing the most polarizing things. I mean, it like beat for beat follows the template of The Force Awakens, especially with Dewey. It's some
That's
of that
the worst
stuff.
thing you can possibly do.
Yeah. It's the cast, like that's the thing. I feel like I'm watching a great cast and good characters, but not great story direction. It's not as clever as it thinks it is. And when a movie's not as clever as it thinks it is, it gets on my nerves.
Yeah.
Second.
Oh, that's the worst.
Yeah. Second least favorite, Scream 3. I rewatched that. It has one of those things that I don't like at the beginning with killing Cotton Weary.
Yeah.
I don't like when at the very beginning of the next movie they kill off a character that went through this whole journey or arc or something like that. That just always rubs me the wrong way. And then it gets into what we were talking about earlier. It gets very convoluted. It has very odd retcons. It has the number one violation, I would say, when it comes to a whodunit, and it lazily pretends to kill the killer to make you not suspect him, and then reveals him in the end to be the killer. I hate that. I think it's such a lame way to conceal the identity. And I don't think I could write a Scream movie because I don't think I'd be smart enough to be able to conceal the identity.
Oh,
like
yeah, right.
Way. Like that's got to be the hardest part to write about a Scream movie. But still, if it's being lazy, it's being lazy. I'm gonna have to call it out.
Wow.
Now that I've sat on it, I guess I'll put Scream 6 at the number 4 spot. I guess it would be. Yeah, it would be the number 4 spot. I'd say a great improvement over 5. Some of the greatest set pieces in the last 10 years in the Scream franchise. There's a lot of exciting stuff they do with the city, and I think they take advantage of it pretty good. Again, I like the cast of characters. The new ones are pretty good. They bring back Kirby from the 4th movie, who I thought was the big standout of Scream.
I liked her. Yeah, she was great.
And they respected her character too. I always get nervous when you find out they're bringing back a character in a sequel, especially in horror, because you always, you run the calculation through your head. Are they bringing back this beloved character just to kill them, to make the new Ghostface look tough? Which, what they do in 5?
Yeah, I really thought they were going to do that.
Yeah, and they didn't. They respected her character, and she acts in the same way that I think Gale and Dewey kind of grow and develop. She's in a believable place that you would believe this character would be 10 years later, and she acts like she did in the 4th movie while still being more mature and more adult. So yeah, good amount of praise for Scream 3. Probably not as high as when I first saw it, but still, I think it's a good, very solid sequel.
Wow. Okay.
At the number 3 spot, Scream 2. Now, this one is another nostalgia pick. Yeah, I enjoy the sequel a lot. It's obviously not as clever, as well written as the first one. It has some goofy things about it, and has a few things that kind of bother me, like killing Randy off. I think.
Yeah, that sucked.
Yeah,
there's another one, Luke.
But great character. Kind of a weak killer reveal, but it also too has some of the coolest sequences I think in the Scream franchise. I love the car scene. If you remember that one, and them like
that was freaky.
When Ghostface is knocked out, like trying to like crawl over him. I like stuff like that. Good tense scenes. And I also think too they handle Sydney extremely well, as how she would handle the fallout of the first movie. And they don't have her act stupid to make the plot of this movie happen, which they very easily could have done. Just have her fall for the same shit, and a lot of sequels do that. But she's got caller ID now. She doesn't trust the boyfriend. She just does things that you would believe this character would do after the fact. And just she further solidifies why she was my favorite Scream queen for years. And she might still be. I just haven't assessed that question in a while. Okay. Number 2 is Scream 4. And some of this could be the nostalgia talking. I thought it was a very exciting sequel that also grew with the times. Some of the commentary is a bit on the nose, but at the same time, I think it does a good job of bringing Scream to that early 2010s atmosphere with these characters grown up a decade later. The first 3 came out in pretty quick succession. So having it 10 years later, and they put them in a place that respects them. Like I said earlier with Dewey and Gale, they're still together, which I appreciate. And also too, I think that this is the only one that I specifically remember being shocked by the killer reveal. I thought that it was a pretty great reveal, unexpected. And also some people might not like it, but they pull a very interesting thing with the multiple endings fooling you. Some might be annoyed by it. I thought it was really good, and just a great way to bring Scream into the early 2010s. But for the number 1, I think it's pretty obviously the first one.
Yeah.
Inventive. It's tough to talk about a movie like the first Scream because what hasn't been said about it.
Yeah, literally.
Great characters. They're believable. They're likable. You feel like part of the friend group. The writing's very good. The scares are thrilling. It's very nostalgic. And there's a reason that it had the influence that it did at the time, and it was such a big hit, And I'm very curious to see what what Jackson has to say. I can't say anything.
Oh,
I was gonna
His
say this.
favorite is
This
Scream.
That was a
easy.
great, thorough analysis, man. That was awesome.
That was
You're
really
the man. You're doing a great
Thank you.
job today. Really, wow. Yeah, round of applause in the
Yeah.
chat. Good stuff. I don't think I
Thank
could beat that. You know, okay, so I think I'm gonna be quick, but and not as thorough. But Scream 5 easily on the bottom makes me sick, made me turned off from the entire series, and I love Scream. So thanks, Scream 5. You totally ruined everything for me. Then I'd say next up is probably Scream 3. It was definitely weaker,
Yeah.
odd story for sure. I did like it was funnier though. It was so strange. I love strange avenues they take these films. They don't take them too seriously past
Yeah.
a certain point, which
Jay
I
and
did
Silent
enjoy.
Bob cameo.
Yeah, literally. Yeah, I mean it was like in Hollywood, right? Scream 3.
Yeah.
Yeah, so there you go. It was fun. It was silly, but not as good. Then next I would put probably Scream 4. I loved Scream 4. Still enjoyed it, and I loved the younger cast. I thought they were interesting. I liked the nerdy guys who were like filming for their cinema club. I enjoyed that, and seeing like and then seeing Kirby and sort of the relationship form between her and the dork.
Yeah,
and
when I saw it first, I had such a crush on Kirby.
oh yeah, man. Jeez, gosh, another time I'm rooting for the man. Good job, kid. Then he ruined it. It's like, gosh, what are you doing? You had it right there. Ah, so frustrating. That's why it's next. And then let's see. So it was 5, 3, 4, and then 2. I really enjoyed 2. I liked what is it, Liev Schreiber? I loved Liev Schreiber.
I like him in everything he's in. He's awesome.
He's great. He's solid, and he's a great character in this. Con Weary really enjoyed his story, and his desperate attempts to clear his name and to do that with Sydney. So very interesting. And then of course, Scream 1's
that
the
is
best.
a very compelling aspect, which is also too why I hate what Scream 3 does in the beginning.
Yeah, just killing him off. It was sad. That was a hard one to watch.
Finally gets his life back, and
yeah, finally he's back. So you just mentioned this, Griffin, talking about the Scream Queens and how you've been wanting to give that some closer consideration. So I think we should talk about that, because growing up, I considered Sidney Prescott to be the Scream Queen. I really don't even think of anyone else. Even Jamie Lee Curtis, she doesn't even really come close, even though she's great.
I don't think she's as interesting.
No. So I'm going to name just a few. And if you have more, feel free to bring them up. Just a few that came up online talking about Scream Queens. Scream Queen, I mean, how would we define that? That's sort of like, a starring female character in horror films that is,
convincing.
That's convincing. Yeah, convincingly, powerful and convincingly whimsical and able to dodge evil when she sees it, and also be a compelling character that everybody loves.
Right.
Would you limit it to like a surviving protagonist too, or would you also consider it like just being someone like a Mia Goth? She doesn't really play the survivor, the protagonist, because in Pearl she's Pearl, like she's the killer. In Infinity Pool she's like the seductress, the crazy woman. I mean, I guess in X she is the final girl, so she would be the Scream Queen of that movie, because she does play multiple roles between Maxine and Pearl. But
I think Scream Queen, like for me, I don't know how you would put it in a place where it isn't the victim, because I mean that's sort of like, I just don't know how else you'd consider it, right? So I guess I think we'd have to keep her out in that regard, unless she was like the victim, the survivor. So maybe keep Mia Goth out, also because I don't like her, so that's fine. But so we got just a few: Jamie Lee Curtis, Halloween, of course, all those films. Anya Taylor-Joy, you might know her, The Menu and Split. Lynn Shay, Insidious, the old lady from Insidious. I've also met her, which was a great interaction. Jenna Ortega, everyone's, the sweetheart of Hollywood now. All the guys like her, including me. She's definitely being groomed to be the new Scream Queen, to say the least. Then you got Sarah Michelle Gellar, Buffy. A lot of people love that show. Yeah, I haven't seen it, but people just don't stop talking about it.
I watched Angel.
Okay, then you watch. There you go. That's another one. And those are just a few I have. So would you guys?
I would put two. I would say in my opinion, the greatest modern day one, Lauren Lavera, who plays Sienna in Terrifier 2 and 3.
Oh
Ooh,
gosh.
a couple
Yeah.
of
Oh
things.
no. Don't
Sly
take us there,
Jester.
man.
Sly Jester said Shelley Duvall from The Shining. But
Ooh.
That's a
really
good
quick, really quick, shame on you, Jackson. You just named most of those guys. You did not name one of the best ones, Naomi Watts.
I don't know who that is.
She is on King Kong. She is on The Ring. She has a very convincing scream and acting method. She's great. What do you think? What do you think, Griff?
Naomi Watts.
That actually is like a snub that I wouldn't have thought of. That's a good pick.
Yeah,
I wouldn't like that's like
Weaving.
not like an obvious one, but I think it's a really good one that like very clearly, especially in King Kong, dude. She screams.
Oh yeah, her
head off
scream,
in that
her
movie.
scream is terrifying. Like it's if you heard that scream, you would something's going on.
Yeah,
I mean it's loud and it's a terror scream. You know.
Huh.
Yep.
No,
Absolutely.
I don't know these people. I
Wow.
haven't. Is she on one of these pictures here?
Yeah, she's the very left.
Oh,
the very left one is from The Ring, I believe. That picture. The very right is Emma Roberts. She's kind of like in like the American Horror Story.
Actually, the killer in Scream 4.
Yeah, that's right. That was a
is?
good little twist. I enjoyed that.
Yeah,
Emma
dude, that's what I'm
Roberts in
talking about
Scream
when I'm
4?
saying the most surprising one to me.
Wow.
That was
Okay.
surprising. That was like messed up.
Yeah.
Like, come on, girl. Don't go
Samara
there.
Weaving. Who's Samara Weaving?
I don't know
Ready
who
or
that is.
Not,
Okay, I meant to
yeah,
put her on the list.
That's a really good one, actually.
Was she the one that was in that new movie with oh gosh, what's his name? She was in a new like movie where she's on a date on like a high rise.
That, I
no,
don't think
not
that was
Trap.
her,
What was
not
it
Drop.
called? No, not Drop. Oh, what was it called? Oh wait, yeah, Drop.
Yeah.
That wasn't her. Okay, I thought that
Ready or
looked like
Not.
her.
Yep.
Okay, all right.
Which was directed by the guys who did Scream 5 and 6, and Samara Weaving was at the beginning. She was the beginning kill in Scream 6.
Okay, Gord King likes Samara Weaving. It's good to see you, man.
Hey, Gore King.
We love you, Gord King. All right, so are you putting someone else as the Scream Queen, or is it Sidney Prescott? Because it's easily Sidney Prescott for me, without a doubt.
With these options, yeah, it's hard for me to dispute. Like, yeah, I would say so. It's kind of tough. Like, I feel like I wish I prepared and kind of looked a little bit, but I have a hard time saying it's not. Yeah, Lauren Rivera is fantastic. Thank you, Gord.
Gord King's a channel favorite. I love
Love
Gord
it.
King.
I like him already. But yeah, Sydney, she pretty much always has been. She's pretty much been my go-to answer, and I don't have a compelling reason not to still have her as it. Yeah.
Wait, you're talking about Prescott?
Yep. Yeah,
Okay,
Sydney
good,
Prescott.
good.
I think that.
What about you,
she's
Luke?
probably...
You the Grudge, Grudge or Ring? One of those.
It's
weird
funny because Sarah Gellar, she's actually in The Grudge.
Yeah.
First 2
Yes,
movies,
she is.
but she's not a Scream Queen in those whatsoever. Let me think. Out of these guys, or just in general?
No, in general. Like if you have another one, that would be great.
I would say Shelley Duvall from The Shining. We already.
But that's just one movie, though. You know what I mean?
What about Kirsten Dunst from Spider-Man MJ?
Yeah, she is literally a Scream Queen. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
She's a good contender. I mean,
yeah. I'll have to think more off of it, but this is the best ones in my opinion.
Okay, that's fair enough. Let's talk with the chat real quick. Thanks everybody for chatting with us. We appreciate
Gord
you.
King knows his shit.
He does. Yeah, I saw that. So he says, yeah, Sarah Michelle Gellar is also in I Know What You Did Last Summer. That movie is poo. So I guess they're making a new one. Is that right?
Yeah, they are, and I don't have any excitement. I mean, I Know What You Did Last Summer is probably the prime example of just, a very Scream-inspired 90s horror movie that doesn't quite capture the magic. I think it's okay, but I've never been in love with that movie. Overall, it's a pretty weak franchise. This new one, it's looking like it's going to just be Scream 5, but with I Know What You Did Last Summer, which is such a singular concept. I don't know even how they're going to do it, but I can't imagine it's going to be very good.
I haven't seen the old ones, so you don't think it's worth watching?
First one might be. First one's like a decent movie, but I think some some of it too is that people hype it up a little bit more, I think, than I think it is. Not take away from their opinion, obviously, but I don't know. Yeah, it's written by the same guy who did Scream, Kevin Williamson. But I just don't think it's nearly as good as Scream.
Okay, interesting. All right, cool.
Oh yeah,
Thanks,
T.
man.
Parker just pointed out what I just said. Yeah.
Well, here, let's see what he says. I know what you did last summer was also very good. Smart guy. Smart guy. Thanks for joining us,
He
T.
knows
Parker.
shit too.
You're a new friend here. Let's see, where was I? T. Parker just derailed me on here. Here we go. Proctofile. The first 2 scary movies were pretty funny. Then they really jumped the shark and just threw everything they could have into the scripts.
That is true. They
did that. Yeah,
they did a whole bunch.
They did. The first 2 were funny, and they were, I mean, just stupid, but they were.
I guess they're making another one, right? With Marlon Wayans.
Yeah, he's coming back.
What movie are they spoofing?
That's the thing. I don't know yet. I imagine they're probably just.
I feel like The Conjuring would be a good one to start with.
That would be fun.
Yeah, because that's very prevalent in pop culture.
Yeah, everybody always mentions, when they talk about their favorite horror movies, they talk about Conjuring. That's it.
The first one does it for me. That's pretty much it.
I love the first 2.
I love the first 2. Yeah.
Yeah, they're great. And the third one was all right. It was decent. It was fun.
I found it forgettable, but
it's forgettable. But I mean, yeah. It wasn't
like,
scary at all.
Horrible.
I didn't like the whole witch part of the Conjuring thing, where the witch was like controlling.
Oh yeah, that was a little strange.
Yeah.
TGV Monster, thanks for joining us, man. Scream was one of my first horror movies I ever seen. Hey, nice, man. Same here.
It's a good gateway, I would say.
Yeah,
it's definitely a lot of people's
good opening to the slasher films.
Yeah, and the slashers. It's a good starting point because it's not too overtly serious or frightening.
No. I feel like there's just like a lot of references nowadays to Scream as well. It's sort of like one of the standards. TGV Monster. Scary Movie 3 is my favorite one because it makes fun of 2 movies I thought were overrated. The Ring. Oh, what? It makes fun of Signs?
Yeah. Get him, TGV.
When I saw where he was starting to go with that, I was like,
oh. I'll never watch it. I'll protest it. Don't watch Scary Movie 3. You have my blessing. Sin's Corner. They were at one of my she's talking about the actors I met. I think Dewey especially. They were at one of my local cons last year, and their panel was fantastic. If you have a chance to go see them when you're at a con I recommend it. Yeah, man. I'm excited. I'm excited to talk about them. That's going to be fun. They're definitely worth meeting. All those Scream actors I met were great. I haven't had a bad.
I've only seen the new ones, the new Scream actors at the cons that I've been to.
Man,
like the ones from 5 and 6.
Did you meet Jenna Ortega?
No, I didn't. She's probably a little.
Yeah, she's not going. You'll see her in 60 years. Yeah, she'll be there in 60 years.
She runs out of money if her career doesn't go very well. Maybe I'll see her at con.
Oh god,
that's where you end up.
Yeah, literally. TGV Monster. Gail is one of my favorite horror final girls. She is so sassy and fun. Yeah, she is. She's definitely sassy. Yeah, what did Sin says, what they did with Dewey in that movie was terrible, especially when you realize who it was that killed him. So stupid. Yes.
Yeah, it's
makes
just
me
not
so
believable
mad.
in
Ridiculous.
any respect.
No, yeah.
And I was thinking about that too. Do you think that they have someone the same height as the actual killer in that Ghostface costume in those scenes?
No way.
Because then
not with her.
That would be the biggest dead giveaway ever.
Like 5'1".
Yeah, why is Ghostface 4 foot tall?
Oh gosh. Oh, it just makes me angry.
I saw her at the last convention I went to.
She was at one?
Mickey Madison.
Really?
It was before Anora. So I don't think I'm going to be seeing her at a con again. Dude,
she's going to want to stay away after that film,
dude,
right? I mean, guys are going to be weird.
Because everyone was going to the line that I went to.
Did you meet her?
No, I didn't meet her.
Oh. I'm glad you didn't waste your money. That movie, I never want to watch that. Hearing what everybody told me, it's like, I'm not watching that crap. Are you kidding me? Heck no. Yeah.
I kind of liked it. I actually kind of liked it.
No thanks. I'm good.
Fair
Thanks,
enough.
Buddy. TGV Monster. Favorite Gale line. I know you're a few 100 pounds overweight, but when I say move it, that means move your fat tub of lard ass now. Yeah, that was
that also got a laugh out of me when I was rewatching it. It's just
poor guy.
Yeah. Poor newscaster.
She's such a sweet lady. Sly Jester. Funny enough, the first time I saw Scream was at a friend's house during a birthday party sleepover when I was around 10 or 11. Yep.
That's the shit that memories are made of, like watching a good horror movie at a sleepover when you're a kid.
Oh, man.
Just, nothing
Take me back.
I know, dude. Then you become an adult.
Jackson,
same no more.
For us, it was just Goosebumps.
Goosebumps. Oh, yeah. And Haunting Hour. I enjoyed that.
Yeah. Yep.
Wilkie, good to see you, man. Thanks for joining us. TGV Monster. That's a problem with the Ghostface killers, where several of them are little girls taking down full-grown men. Not buying it. Yeah, for real. Oh, T. Parker Evans. Scream 6 is a popcorn turn off your brain movie. Don't think about the logic. It's the worst written of the franchise, in my opinion. Man, he's making me think. Maybe I shouldn't waste my time watching this. Oh, gosh.
Knowing how you think about Scream 5, I'd say probably not. Yeah.
All right. I like what Sly Jester says here. After the stream, refresh and hit the like button again. It's like calling the algorithm from inside its house. Yes.
Hey.
If you haven't yet already, give us a thumbs up. We'd appreciate it. Thanks very much. Thumbs up and share with your friends. Let them know.
Yeah.
And subscribe to our friend here, GM Light. We'll give him a proper shout out later. And
thank you.
Yeah, of course. Let's see. Gord King down here. I only watched the first 2 Scream movies. Really liked the first one. Second one was never bothered with the others for some reason. Well, I don't know. Yeah. I'd say check them out. Just don't watch the new ones if you're listening to me. Gord King, Brawler like Anora, more like Ignora. Yeah, Ignora, man. Ignora. I'm Ignora Anora, man. Oh gosh, that's funny. Gord King's always got the quips. Gord King's always got the quips. So let's talk about the ghost faces real quick, because I have a beautiful picture here of the ghost faces. This is a major spoiler.
I like that, but
major
I also
spoiler.
don't. Time.
So we have. Is this all of them? I guess this is
not the ones from 6, but
so not 6.
It is for the first 5.
So this is the ones I've seen. All right. So Griffin, do you want to maybe get the ball rolling here? Because I know you said you had some interesting takes on this.
Yes. I am trying to think about what I was actually thinking about, but I will just start right off the bat. Now, it's weird because there are certain aspects of ranking the Ghostface is that you got to think about throughout the movie, were they believable as that version that was fooling everybody? And does it seem consistent with their character and who they kind of end up revealing themselves to be? And that's too what I would say is my major gripe with the 6th one, is that the killers turn out to be complete cartoon characters when they reveal themselves to be Ghostface. But
in the 6th one?
Yeah, in the 6th one. And I would say the same thing with Jack Quaid. Jack Quaid acts like a cornball when he reveals himself to be Ghostface. He's like, how can fandom be toxic? And it's the cringe, you know. But like, I thought he was perfectly fine throughout most of the movie, and he cornballs it up too much at the end. But then you got like Stu with Matthew Lillard, where that is the character, and he was like, he's the same guy throughout the whole movie. And it's not that I think that Billy and Stu, they're the most consistent with their characters as Ghostface as they are throughout the movie. It doesn't feel like a performance in the same way that I think even to a certain degree, almost everybody else on the list besides maybe Emma Roberts, they kind of just take an entirely different approach when they're playing I'm Ghostface and I'm revealed now versus who they are.
Yeah, it's like Scooby-Doo.
It is like Scooby-Doo. But
it's not even like serious with them. It's this is who it is. This is the murderer of the movie.
It flies way over the top. But and I think too, what I was getting at was that stuff with Mickey Madsen as one of the Ghostface killers was that you think the whole time, you think back on the movie, do you actually believe that was the person in that suit? And with her, it's obviously no. And you think too to the tells, and with Billy, it's an interesting situation where it feels like he's kind of obvious, but I do think what the script of Scream does a good job of is muddying the water and throwing all these red herrings so that you kind of are still questioning it even by the time he does reveal himself to be him. And that's just looking at it from an analytical perspective. I don't remember at all what I was thinking when I watched it for the first time, if I thought it was him. But that's pretty much, where I would go with that.
That's fair. Yeah. They really throw you off the scent, and it's like kind of too obvious, but it actually is him. Yeah, they play that cleverly. And I'm glad you reminded me that a lot of these guys, as enjoyable as it was to see them unmasked, it did seem like it was kind of like a parody, like just nonstop parodies. And it sounds like I kind of have to rewatch Scream 5, even though I really don't want to. But if I could get like a ultra clear awareness of this, because I'd like to see, you're reminding me that they did take it way more seriously, which I respect a lot. I do like that. I like the serious tone, because this isn't really, this is an awful situation, like nonstop. But like a lot of these sequels, like take it sort of in a jokey kind of fashion. So I like hearing that they kind of went back on the track of just being like super serious and I don't know, forthright about that, because the first one was very serious, and it felt natural that these two were the villains of the night, and it felt real. So for me, a lot of these, quite a few of these are pretty forgettable. I did like, I think you said Emma Roberts, is that her name?
Yeah.
I thought she was a great one. Yeah. You can't beat Billy and Stu. I think Stu was my favorite of the bunch as the killer. I love Stu.
Just so much personality. It's just like infectious.
There's like, and it's like, there's some of these guys like nobody, like who really cared about, like the guy in the top right here. Like nobody, I don't think anybody cared when he revealed himself.
Had like 2 appearances throughout the movie. He's barely even in it.
Yeah, literally just a dude around. Yeah. I did enjoy, I liked the like the couple, like the guy below him with the long hair. He was also in
Charlie?
Signs, by the way. Yeah, Charlie. I liked him.
He was in Signs?
Yeah, he's the kid in Signs.
Really?
Yep.
I don't know how I never knew that.
Yeah, he's way worse in this. He's also good though. He's also good in this. I mean, he did a good job, but very different characters clearly. But I did enjoy. I thought they did a great job. They were interesting, and it was so sad to see what happened with that. It's like, oh, I'm over Kirby now, so I want to be with her. But oh, she doesn't like me. I'm not part of her plan. No.
Oh, the simp. Simp goes down.
Simp goes down. Literally, man. This is the telltale side of Simp goes down.
Yeah.
Poor guy. Yeah. And then I think it's Roman to the left in the middle.
Killer
Roman. I liked him. I did enjoy him as I liked him as the killer. I thought
liked
it was fun.
His character. It's just the retcons and the motivations that put me off to
that's ridiculous.
Like pretending he was dead too for a while in the movie. It's like I said, I just find that to be a lazy way to eliminate him as a suspect.
I think for me, I think the funniest one was the older woman, Billy's mom. That's the mom, right?
Yeah.
Because I thought that was hilarious. Because Sidney Prescott was kind of roasting her and trashing her when she was around, and she's like, "You are talking about my son in that vein, you bitch." I mean, it was so funny. I loved her dialogue she had with Sidney.
Yeah,
she cracked me up hard, probably more than any of these other guys as the villain.
It's funny that the kid from Signs is the long hair, the guy with the long hair, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's the brother.
Oh,
of the
wow.
Kid from Home
Look
Alone.
at that. Nice. Rory Culkin.
Yeah.
That makes sense. He looks like him.
Yeah.
Man.
I like how you pointed that out,
Gord King. The kid in Signs is the brother.
That's
full effect. I didn't know that, actually.
Yeah.
That's insane.
Yeah, that's all you can see now, really.
He sounds like him, too. That's crazy. Huh. We don't see much of him anymore. But yeah, Mickey Madison, I don't like her ever. Maybe I'll like her later. I hope I do. I don't want to not like her, but yeah, if she makes weird films.
What did you think of her in Once Upon a Time in Hollywood? I know it's like a small.
Oh no, I didn't like her at all.
She gets butchered in that one.
Yeah, she gets
torched.
Yeah.
No, there wasn't any reason to like her in it.
No.
So, no. Yeah, that was not a good entrance for her character either. But Other than that, Luke, do you have any thoughts? I mean, you don't really know anything.
Oh,
But...
this would be easy for me. I like the first two.
Let's get a ranking.
Oh
That's
gosh.
it. I mean,
wow, good ranking.
I feel like the the first two are just all you see are goofballs, especially the second one with
I love Matthew Lillard. He's awesome.
So funny. He stole the show. But the one in the very end, the last one, he looks like a pretty intense serial killer in my eyes. Like he has that dark look in his eyes.
Are you talking about Jack Quaid?
Very last one.
The picture I think is just like flattering.
Yeah, it makes him look like a kind of intense. I don't know. But yeah, it's just so funny looking at the second one compared to the last one.
Yeah.
It's just so funny. He looks so goofy and he's just funny. I mean, I don't see any, he even jokes around like when he's revealed himself to Nev Campbell. He's still all right, Nev Bell. Yeah, Campbell. Yeah. Sorry, Campbell. He's just joking around still and just making jokes and just like still acting like that douchebag from high school.
I think it's so funny when he's like, "I'll be right back." Oh, and he like goes through the door.
Yeah, he's still acting like a total frat dude.
Yeah, it's funny.
It's hilarious.
It's like I said, they're still like they're congruent with the characters that they have been the whole movie.
Yeah.
It's just now you have this added reveal.
You can't see it. I mean, I feel like the first guy, the main antagonist, I feel like he definitely wore the suit more than I forget his name. You know what I'm talking about. I feel like he definitely wore it more than his partner, his friend.
Yeah.
Because I feel like he had he was more of like the trying to convince all of the characters from high school that he was innocent. I feel like he was the first guy was behind it all, really the leader of the antagonism.
Yeah, I liked thinking that was like one of my favorite parts about Scream 1 was trying to like put yourself there and figure out which one of these two was in the like donning the ghost face appearance. Like, is this Stu here? Is this Billy? Billy's here. We know Billy's, in lockup and he shows up here. I thought that was part of the fun, like figuring out who was who.
Yeah. And like going back, it makes it for a fun rewatch too. And seeing certain things that they do in order to like make it seem like it couldn't possibly be them.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Right.
They did a really good job of that.
That makes it fun.
And I really like the speaker. I mean, I always wondered why they sounded so different. Like, how do they, make their voices sound so like disguisable? But then that's something I knew about Scream for years, like a couple decades since I was, a little kid. And that was the first time when I, actually watched the movie and I understood that they were using like a speaker to change their voice. And I was like, okay, that makes sense.
Then you get into the third one where you can use a voice changer that mimics anybody that the voice changer has ever heard.
Wow. That's just real life now. I mean,
it's coming. Yeah.
Yeah.
I can sound like Luke whenever I want.
Yeah.
Use AI.
Or Griffin. All right. Let's talk about, so we're about to wrap up, guys. But before we do, I want to talk about something a little more fun. Let's talk about fun. It's good to have fun. So we're
not already having fun.
No, let's have more fun.
Yeah.
More fun, right? Unscripted fun here. Talking about cons. That was something I always like keeping up with you, Griffin, and your Instagram. I like seeing all the different actors you meet at cons and such. And I've been to many in my life, and there's a local horror convention. I really don't like it very much anymore. I think people take things way too far there, but I've always enjoyed meeting some of the actors. I always thought they had great actors. I actually got to meet Lynn Shay from Insidious, the main old lady. She was there.
Yeah.
I haven't seen her at a con since. I actually got to meet Patrick Wilson as well, from the Conjuring films. Ed Warren, he was there. And
sorry, did you say mean old lady?
not mean old lady.
She's not mean.
She's not mean. She was so sweet when I met her. She was great.
No, like they act like in the movies. She's not.
No,
mean.
She's not mean. No,
you said mean old lady.
You said a little old lady. I did not mean to say
meet
mean.
an old lady.
Meet an old lady.
Oh, sorry. Okay, my bad. Okay, I was like, she's not mean.
No, she wasn't.
Okay,
she was
sorry.
Great. Some of them are mean. Some people are mean. I've met a lot of mean,
like Badger,
dickhead actors. Yeah, he was mean when I met.
Yeah,
him.
Badger from Breaking Bad.
Yeah, I feel like it's so disrespectful to
the worst conversation I ever had with anyone was with him. My family went to an Office convention, the Office TV series, and he was in there briefly. And when I met him, I was real excited. He was one of the reasons why I wanted to go. And
dude, I want to meet a Breaking Bad actor.
Yeah, actually, I also got to meet Walter Jr., which was awesome.
You did?
I had
my buddy did too at a walking.
He's awesome.
I'm
right?
officially jealous. That would be awesome. Did he? I love how I'm not trying to sound fucked up or anything. I like how he doesn't act in like
he has cerebral palsy.
That's actually his condition, and it makes him so wholesome in my opinion because he's such a great and humble actor in my opinion. He's funny. He Breaking Bad made his life, and I love that.
Yeah. Well, yeah, he was awesome. Badger. What happened with Badger was there was literally nobody in his line. It said that this was his first convention appearance. And this convention kind of made me realize that I don't want to meet actors anymore, just because I met a few guys there that were really stale and sour. And he was one of them.
When it's like, all right, where's like the money? He
did not care. He had nobody in his line. We were like probably the first ones to talk to him. My pops and me, we went up and we talked to him. And eager with questions. We always come with lots of questions, ready to conversate because you want to get your money's worth and you want to learn something. And wow, dry, talking to a wall, uninterested. It's like he's got 100 people in his line, but nobody was behind us. Yeah.
Why even show up? Why even go to those things if you're just gonna waste, your fans' time?
People's time.
I mean, you spent money, and also really quick, with Walter Jr. You should have brought him breakfast. That was
pancakes.
That'd been so fun. Hey, I brought you some breakfast. I brought you some bacon.
Okay, so the autograph. I have his autograph, and I made him say, "You killed him. You killed Uncle Hank." He wrote that. So
that's really funny.
You're a pussy. Why do you have to be such a bitch?
Dude, I felt so bad for when he joined Cameo and everyone was trying to make him say the weirdest shit ever.
So funny.
He was awesome. When I met him, I had a great talk with him. Really great guy.
Oh.
So at the same convention, since we're talking about Scream, I also met Skeet Ulrich. And I had, like I said, I have a bunch of pictures. I've met quite a few Scream actors, and on this poster, I have, most of their autographs here. And Skeet Ulrich, great conversation with him. This is the only picture I'm showing everyone, but this is an oldie of me. What was this? Like 2000?
That looks like 2019.
Was that 2019? That's weird. That, but
I don't know.
I think you're right, which is also
I would have placed
I told you I have a good memory.
Like
Jackson.
that's like you have like I assume like season 7, season 8 Walking Dead shirt.
Yeah, well, that was kind of like I was way past that at that point, but just rewatching them. Oh wait, no, this was actually, I think this was 2021. I think this was 2021 actually. Yeah, because some people were still wearing masks, and when they were wearing masks,
if it was like right before Scream 5, then it would have been 2020.
Yeah, so 2021. Had a great talk with him. I guess there's not really much of a story here, but every time I meet these guys, I try to talk their ear off and get them to say some stuff. And it's just fun that way. It wasn't bad with him. I've also met let's see, I don't think I have too many pictures here, like just of the people. I met Matthew Lillard. Matthew Lillard was awesome. Really? Everybody,
his
so
lines
funny.
Are crazy. I want to meet him so bad.
At the convention, he is the token child of conventions. Everybody wants to meet him, and he's really not even that big of an actor either, which is strange. You know what I mean? He's not. Yeah. He's not even a B-lister. He's like a D-lister, but he's really one of the the
he's
top
like a
talents.
Character actor.
Yeah, I mean, he gives everybody, the time they deserve, and it's like meeting the, your family member, your distant relative, your long lost friend, and I had a great talk with him. I also got to meet Nev Campbell. I met her when I was pretty young, and I was super nervous. You know what I mean? She was my celebrity crush.
Were your knees shaking?
My knees were shaking. I didn't know what to do. I was with my sister, and she did a lot of the talking, so that was embarrassing. I also got to meet David Arquette. Like I said earlier, when I met David, he was a lot of fun.
That's really cool. He's on my bucket list.
Definitely a great guy to meet. He talked to me about how he did. He's been doing Bob Ross painting classes where he teaches them.
Oh, wow.
Which is super
That's
strange. Cool. Yeah, that's sort of been his main source of income lately. You know, this was like years ago. But I had a great talk with him. Nobody was in his line. It was completely empty, which
That's
was
pretty
so
crazy,
sad.
honestly.
Yeah,
I wouldn't have thought that.
You know, I'm just jealous that you met. I'm gonna mention one more that you met. I'm really jealous that you met Patrick Wilson. I mean,
oh yeah, that's
a really cool one.
I remember
that's a very cool.
There was a video of Jackson. I know you probably don't have it right now, but there's a video of you showing him something, and he was actually acting very interested. He was like, "Wow, look at that! Did you do that?"
Yeah, it was my Ed Warren piece I made. Yeah, that was cool.
He seems like such a cool guy, and he's a decent, you know.
He's a big name. He's a big horror name. You know?
And I mean, like, not even that, but like Aquaman, like he's like a big star.
He's you got The Conjuring, you got Insidious. That's two big horror franchises.
And he has a varied career, like even outside of horror and superheroes. You know, he's done a lot of cool shit.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, doing all kinds of stuff. Another one of my favorite actors I got to meet Jamie Kennedy, Randy.
Oh, and dude, he's one. I want to meet him so bad and make him sign something from Son of the Mask.
Oh yeah, bring him a mask. That was trippy,
how he reacts.
He's like, please don't remind me of that.
Please, sir, that ruined my career.
I love him. Yeah, he was awesome. I had a great conversation with him, and he thought I could be a good president one day, and that made me happy.
Hey, that's
but
awesome.
He was a lot of fun. Definitely worth meeting him. All the Scream actors were great. I got to meet one of the stunt doubles too, who was the bumbling Ghostface running around. Yeah, so that was fun talking to him. What about you, man? So you said you've just met the one controversial actor. Everyone's been waiting to hear who this is. I know
Melissa Barrera. I did meet, who was fired from.
So she's this girl, right?
Yes.
Okay, behind
Jenna Ortega's sister in the movie, the main star of Scream 5 and 6.
Dang, and she's not in the next one.
No, she's not. She got let go.
She was all right. She was a good lead.
Yeah, I think she's really good in the movies. She was really nice in real life.
Oh.
But yeah, no. So basically, like, the story behind that con was I was going to, because I wanted to meet Robert Englund, who played Freddy Krueger. But
oh wow,
like a little something. It's been a couple of times and I never learned. You need like a VIP pass. You need to be there first thing in the morning. Otherwise, you're never gonna fucking meet him.
Wow.
He talks to everybody he gives them the time of day, which is awesome. But like, you see the line and a lot of people wait hours and they still never meet him.
Wow.
So like, very difficult. I showed up trying to meet him once again, but I was like, this is just not gonna happen. And I looked around. I was like, oh yeah, like met her. She was really cool. Usually I go with like backups in mind, or thinking about the options depending on lines and stuff. I met her. I also met the guy who played the Creeper in Jeepers Creepers. Not the director.
That's cool.
Oh,
not the director.
That'd be cool. I wish you met the director, Francis Ford Coppola.
The background of the director?
Wait, you're talking about Francis Ford Coppola, right?
No, not Francis Ford Coppola. Francis Ford Coppola produced it.
He produced it. Okay,
yeah,
yeah, I was gonna say that makes sense. Jeepers is he a Jeeper Creeper?
My gosh!
No, it's one of those things. Like, oh man,
that sucks.
That makes sense.
Cool you got to meet that dude, though. I mean, that character. That's another one of my like one of my new favorite series.
Yeah, it was really cool talking to him too, because Jeepers Creepers 2 was one of the movies that actually scared me as a kid. Like, my dad one time threw it on the TV, and it just like haunted my nightmares. So it was like funny to talk to him about that, and he loved hearing about it, and telling me a little bit about like filming the movies and stuff. It was really cool. He was a really cool guy.
Oh,
But,
cool.
Yeah.
Jackson,
Yep. Huh?
You got to come prepared with pictures. You have so many.
I know. See, a lot of them have like sensitive information. Like I'm wearing like high school
Danny Darko in the
shirts and stuff.
I'm going to bring up just a couple from Jackson that he did not mention. The new Halloween 2018.
Oh, those guys were great.
He met the guy who plays old Michael Myers.
Oh, James.
He's a picture. Yeah, he has a picture with the two reporters.
The podcasters.
Yeah.
That's really cool.
Those guys were awesome.
He met. I think I covered Patrick Wilson. I mentioned that one.
Yeah.
You met Lorraine or Elise Lynn Shay. You mentioned that, right?
Lynn Shay. Yeah. I'd love to meet Lorraine. That'd be awesome. Lorraine Warren.
Yeah,
she's
pretty cool.
I kind of have a crush on her.
Yeah.
Not so much when she plays an old lady version,
right?
But like when she wasn't.
Yeah. All right.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, this is some. Yeah.
There was a bunch more. Yeah, I haven't really had much time to go through all of them. Did you have any more? Did you have any more good stories? Real quick.
Oh
Griffin?
yeah. Do you want to hear a weird one?
No.
Yeah.
Yes, the weird ones are the best.
You know Bam Margera?
Yeah.
From Jackass.
Come on, Jackson, get out. Okay, keep going.
Well, I mean, basically, he was a star on Jackass.
Yeah.
His life like totally fell apart. He acted like crazy. He disappeared. Like drug bender stuff. Yeah. And I go to a con like right after he like reappeared, and
you met
he
him?
like it was kind of obvious that he like was just doing it for money. Like he's probably the most stale interaction I've had. But I also think part of it too was like he was nervous that someone was gonna like clown on him because his life like totally fucking fell apart. So I don't really blame him.
That's sad.
I feel bad for him. Like he was like begging people for like Venmo on his
I saw that.
I remember he was bashing. I was gonna mention that. Like I didn't want to say anything because it's not horror, but I'm really glad you brought that up. I want to meet a lot of the Jackass guys. I do too. Yeah. I've been meaning to go to me and Cassie, my girlfriend. We were wanting to go see
Steve-O's around here
at the Funny Bone. He's going to the Funny Bone in late July.
He's doing his comedy tour, right?
Yeah. At the Funny Bone
in
Knoxville. I have to meet him at some point in my life. I know he's retired. I have to meet Johnny Knoxville. You know.
Yeah.
I want to meet Bear Margera. I would love to. He's such a good guy.
He seems like he's doing a lot better now.
Yeah.
But at the time I met him, I think he was like newly sober, like kind of like, you know, a lot went on. He got fired from Jackass 4.
Oh yeah, Jackass 4, because I mean he was kind of, they were kind of testing him, kind of
he was
torturing him,
training wheels.
They were like forcing him to take urine tests every couple hours, shove like 30 pills in a day. Paramount, that was their deal. Paramount, so you couldn't have fun or anything. You couldn't have any alcohol. But now he's better. He just, his wife and kid are they're away from him. So Jackson, you need to, add this to your life. Jackass is a huge.
I watched that last Jackass in theaters.
Okay, that's your problem.
I'll never watch Jackass ever.
Jackass 4 was awful. 1, 2, and 3. 1, 2, 2.5, 3, and 3D. You have to watch.
In 3D?
Great
is that
movie.
what you just said?
Yeah, the 3D one is
that was like during the Avatar craze.
Yeah,
like
2010.
2010.
Yeah, 2010. It was they're so funny. They're great. They're original. The fourth one is a waste of time.
Yeah.
It's not the same. They have Machine Gun Kelly in it.
He sucks. I can't stand
it. It was awful. So yes, that's why you do not like Jackass.
Okay.
If you watch 1, 2, and 3,
that's good.
2 is the best one. 2 is when they're all out of
2 is
control.
definitely the funniest.
On drugs. The first one is still kind of like the TV show where it's
prototype.
It's like kind of like a TV show. But the third one, 3.5 and 3D, they're very funny, very worth it to watch. If you want a good laugh, watch that.
Okay.
Yeah,
cool, man.
But I've been to plenty of cons. Met Michael Myers, actor from Halloween 2000.
Nick Castle.
No, Rob Zombie one. Tyler Mane, the guy who
Ooh.
played Sabretooth in X-Men.
Oh, yeah.
That's
he came
him?
back in Deadpool Wolverine.
He plays Sabretooth?
Yeah.
Wow, I didn't know that was him.
Yeah, dude, he's just I have a picture, but
he's enormous, right?
He's so fucking tall.
I mean, have you seen him in the movie, the 2007 Rob Zombie? He's like a monster.
Yeah, dude, it's insane. So, but he was really cool. He was really friendly. I met Danielle Harris, who she was in Halloween 4 or 5. She plays a different character in the 2007 remake also. And she was pretty friendly. I talked to her about a scene I remember like as a kid when she was like in a vent and Michael Myers was trying to stab her, and she was like, sliding up and down the vent. She was telling me how they made that scene, which was cool. Oh, Mike's Film Fix is in. What's up, brother?
What's up, Mike Film?
But
so Mike,
I'll tell you the coolest experience I've ever had, and this made my ego go crazy. But so do you know who Jason Patric is?
Yeah.
Here, hold on, let me look him up.
So,
wait, I know Robert Patrick. I don't know. Maybe I don't know Jason Patric.
He was the star in The Lost Boys.
Oh yeah, I know him. Yeah.
Mm-mm.
So like basically like my cousin knows him. He like is in a band with his son. So they're pretty friendly. And I saw that Jason was going to this convention that I was going to. And I told my cousin, he was like, "Oh shit, I'll tell him, he'll hook you up." So he doesn't know what I look like. So I show up and I prank him with this picture of my cousin. And he circles the picture of my cousin and writes gay.
Yeah.
And, which was hilarious. He takes me backstage at the convention, and we hang out a little, talk and stuff. And then he brings me the director of the Terrifier to his booth.
Oh, wow.
And I talked to him for a minute, and the director of Terrifier was like, "Shit, I recognize you. Like, what do I know you from?" And he actually like said he knows my YouTube channel.
Wow,
which made my
that's
ego
cool.
go crazy.
That's sweet.
Huh. Yeah, which was really cool. And
wow.
I met him a couple times at conventions and stuff. But yeah, no, that was so sick.
That's
wow,
sweet, man.
that's awesome.
Yeah.
Wow.
Man, I wish I had these stories. I met Rob Dyrdek, and he didn't even want to see me. So.
Just give me your money and
my
leave.
$40 and fuck off.
Yeah, I had a meet. I had a meet and greet. We won tickets with a meet and greet with Ariana Grande, and the fans jumped in front of us, so we didn't even have time to say hi to her.
Damn.
So that was a waste of time.
Did you get a picture?
Yeah, we had a picture.
Oh, that's cool.
Right now,
man, I want to see that.
Yeah,
You'll have to send me that.
Yeah, it was
like Ariana Grande.
Yeah, that was like 2011,
awesome.
2012. So that was like still a red hair phase. Remember from Victorious?
The normal phase.
Yeah, and then that's all I really met. I don't have any cool stories to tell.
Well, actually, real quick, kind of unrelated, but I got to meet Carl Weathers, Apollo Creed, right here. And right before he died, I got to meet him, and I had a great interaction with him.
I heard he was nice to cons.
Yeah, I heard negative things while I was in line to meet him. Yeah, like he was real short with people. But when I talked to him, man, just like Apollo Creed, he was bombastic, bold, confident, and loud. And it was like, yes, this is what I want to hear. And he was big still. Even though he was old, he was still a big guy. I had a great talk with him. That was a lot of fun.
That's awesome.
Sucks he's gone. Yeah.
Yeah, no, that was such a bummer to hear. Like, that's one of the celebrity deaths where it's like, oh, man,
I was really looking forward to Happy Gilmore too because of him. Maybe they filmed it.
He was dead. He was dead in Happy Gilmore.
Around my hometown.
He died in Happy Gilmore.
Huh?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Original?
You don't remember that?
I didn't
watch
watch
Alligator in the sky.
Oh no, I did. Sorry, no, I don't remember. Ariana is now the size of the straw one gets in
a grande. Nice.
Yeah. She's going through something. But it's not drug related, thankfully.
So guys, Scream related, do you recommend people check out the Scream series and watch Scream 1 if they haven't yet already?
Dude, he was eaten by a gator. Who was that? Gord King.
Hello,
no, the Proctophile.
Luke,
what?
You didn't answer the question.
Sorry, I read Proctophile's message. What'd you say?
I said, now that we've watched Scream 1, do you recommend people check out Scream 1 before we finish here and maybe get invested in the series?
Watch the first one. Just like me. And keep it.
You can't say anything.
Not a
You haven't
franchise
seen
guy.
the rest. He is a franchise guy. He won't stop going on about Marvel, even when it's dog.
35 Marvel movies. That's cool with me. 5 Scream movies.
That's different.
Yeah. There's 20. There's 15 good Marvel movies. I watch all of them anyway.
They tease something on the end of Iron Man, not Scream.
Oh man. All right. So you kind of
Carl Weathers
recommend
was eaten by
GM
alligator.
Light. GM Light. You recommend?
Absolutely. I can't
All
speak
right.
more highly of Scream. It's also too, it's one of the best overall, most consistent horror series. So yeah, I'd recommend giving them all a shot. I mean, varies on taste, but overall, highly recommend.
Good. Yeah, I'd say the same thing here. You know, I mean, yeah, consistently decent, great stuff, except number 5 and maybe 6. But yeah, really nothing like inappropriate either. Just in the first one, just one little thing you skipped. But other than that, they don't really follow through in the next 2 films. But definitely really enjoyed it. Highly recommend it. Griffin, why don't you tell us a little bit about your channel? Tell everybody about you. Get us excited about what you have coming up, because you did a great job today, man. I'm really impressed with having you on. You're awesome.
Very good.
Appreciate it, Jackson. I really appreciate you guys having me on here. It's been a while since I've streamed, and I had a great time too. I'm excited. If we do this again, hey, that'd be awesome. I'm GM Light Horror. You could follow me on Twitter. I'm on Twitter, but I don't really. I got off that shithole.
Nice.
I'm on Instagram at GM Light Horror. No spaces, no nothing. I'm on YouTube.
I followed you
as
on
GM
that.
Light Horror. Hey, thank you.
Nice.
I'll follow you back.
Cool.
But yeah, I do horror movie reviews, rankings, analysis. I talk about news. I have a video essay in the pipeline right now about Cabin Fever 2, because it's basically like one of the only straight to DVD horror sequels that has a Snyder Cut situation where the studio took the movie away and redid it, and now we have a different cut of the movie.
Oh,
So I thought that was
Snyder
interesting.
Cut, huh?
It's like the Snyder Cut of direct to DVD horror sequels.
Isn't that the Snyder Cut, like just like the Justice League Snyder Cut?
Yeah, like that's what I'm saying. Like that movie was entirely different from the one in theaters because it was reshot and like taken over by Joss Whedon and like the producers. Like this movie was taken over by producers and changed. But that's what I got in the pipeline. Gonna be doing some more reviews. Gonna be doing a lot of 28 days, weeks, coverage.
Okay, I want to have you on for 28 weeks because I want to watch that soon.
28 years.
If you want to. Well,
I definitely
or years.
rewatch.
We could do either one, really.
I would do 28
I would do
years
any
later.
of them. I reviewed the first 2, so those 2 reviews are on my channel.
Good.
I've been reading the comics that give like prequel kind of background. I might make a lore video.
Wow. Dang.
But, yeah.
That's a good idea.
Yeah. So yeah. Hey, good
Great.
stuff coming.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Great. Yeah, you did a great job today, man. Thanks for joining us.
Yeah.
It was a real pleasure having you on. Very
lot of fun,
solid.
Griff.
Great speaking. It sounds like you've been doing this a long time, really. So
Thanks.
Thanks
I appreciate it.
You did your
thanks for
homework.
joining us. He
Yeah, I
did
had a
his
good time shooting
homework.
The shit with you guys.
Yeah,
Yeah.
man, for real. So we're definitely gonna have you on again,
Many
especially
more to
because
come.
I think we might end up doing 28 weeks later next week. So
Can we
we're
start with
trying
28 days? Come on.
we're a little too late for that. We're a little too
Why?
late because
Why?
28 years later is pretty much like the week after next week.
Okay, we can
So,
wait
yeah.
another week.
Well, we'll figure
So
it
we
out
do 'em both.
next Tuesday.
Yeah, there we go.
That'd be fun. Next Tuesday, who knows? We might do a joint stream with
There we
28
go.
days and 28 weeks. That's not a
Yeah.
terrible idea. Maybe we'll do that.
An
You
hour
are
for
welcome to
28
join
days,
us again,
hour for
GM
28
Light,
I
if you're
appreciate it.
interested. Definitely, we're going to talk about 28 years later in the future as well. But yeah, if you haven't yet already checked out his channel, GM Light Horror, check him out. Great stuff. Great guy here. Really could use your support. Young, an incredible young man, young talent on YouTube, and we appreciate him. You know, we're the Gen Z right here. I'm assuming you are as
Absolutely.
well. So it's good to have another Gen Z member.
He's the new
but
future of YouTube.
that's right. That's right. Yeah, and if you haven't yet already, like the video and subscribe to the channel. Share this with anybody that might be on the fence about watching a Scream, because this series has a lot to offer, and we think you're going to enjoy it. But at the end of the day, we thank you for watching us. Thank you for chatting with us in the chat. If we didn't mention something, let us know in the comments below, and we'll see you guys next time.